Huh. Alright everybody, hello, welcome. This is another Hippie Dota cast, and tonight should be excellent. Best of 3 going on between Virtus.Pro and no Tidehunter. This series was played earlier today in the Premier League Season 4. And this should be an absolute treat. Two wonderful teams to watch, both very, very highly skilled. They make some interesting drafts. No Tidehunter has a couple of pet heroes that a lot of other people don't use. Virtus.Pro, of course, I love watching Airman because it seems to me that at this point his standard gyrocopter build includes a Divine Rapier, which is just hilarious that that's his build now. Domhelm, BKB, Rapier. No guarantees it'll happen exactly that way in this game or the rest of the series, but let's get started. Start with the draft. NTH has Radiant side and first pick. I expect they'll try to slip a Wisp through, and Virtus.Pro will say, nope, not letting that happen. We know how good that hero is. Next going to be the first ban, no surprise. I'm still waiting for a team to kind of have a pocket strat to counter Wisp and bait a team into picking him. But it hasn't happened yet. Don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. And quite frankly, with the fact that the 7.7c parity patch just hit the Dota 2 test realm earlier tonight, not like half an hour ago, I think, from when I'm starting this cast.
10 seconds.
We'll probably see 7.8 soon. Wisp will probably get toned down. Spirit's damage, maybe. Maybe Tether, Regen, Overload, attack speed. We'll see. We'll see what ends up happening to Wisp. Keeper of the Light, first ban for VP.
Radiant team.
Yeah, obviously the 7.7c parity patch will hit Dota 2 live tomorrow night, which will bring Timbersaw into Captain's Mode. It'll be fun to see if anyone picks him. And on top of that, we have a few nerfs coming up to heroes like Keeper of the Light, in particular Nyx Assassin as well. If you want the full patch notes, you can check out playdota.com, and those will all be posted there. And the Wisp not quite going to sneak through. So pretty much the 4 most standard bans in the scene, I think, right now. Nyx, Bat, Caudle, Wisp, and we quickly get a Magnus pickup by no Tidehunter, no huge surprise. VP counters with Lone Druid and Gyrocopter. Airman going to be playing that Gyrocopter, most likely then Santa going to be playing the Lone Druid in the offlane. VP pretty much never does a support Gyrocopter, so that's most likely their offlaner and their carry they've just picked. So we'll see if they want to pick up their mid and just relegate themselves to supports for their last couple picks, or what. Again, I say it a lot, if you give away like all 3 of your core heroes, you basically just let them ban out all the good supports, or pick the good supports. You might want to see if NTH focuses on picking a couple of supports here just to deny them to Virtus.Pro. Maybe the Shadow Demon, who's particularly good with the Gyrocopter, gives him a lot of time to get in with the Rocket Barrage, and also the Soul Catcher on top of Rocket Barrage is incredibly painful. Possibly the Bane. Maybe they want to pick Lifestealer and either Shadow Demon or Bane, since both of those are particularly good against Lifestealer. Get them out of the pool as quickly as possible. On the other hand, maybe they're not interested in running a Lifestealer this game. We'll have to see. Phantom Lancer still in the pool, although without Keeper of the Light he's somewhat less effective, but can still be a very powerful carry. Still sometimes gets picked first phase without a Keeper. NTH definitely taking their time on these picks. I think they're trying to determine, you know, alright, what do we think they're going to burn their third pick on, and what do we need to deny them? I mean, do we need to deny them support heroes? Do we think they're going to pick up a lot of support right here? Who knows? Darkseer going to be picked up, so Darkseer, Magnus, offlane, and Lifestealer. So that's no Tidehunter's 3 core heroes right there. There are 3 farming heroes. Magnus mid, Darkseer in the offlane / the jungle, Lifestealer going to be their tri-lane farmer, most likely. There's obviously some other things you can do, but especially on Radiant side, you're unlikely to see Magnus anywhere but mid. Unless they get a safe lane farming situation they want to throw him in, but that would require some odd things being done with the Lifestealer and the Darkseer. It's awkward to lane all 3 of those and somehow put Magnus anywhere but mid. Bane immediately picked up by Virtus.Pro. Excellent counter to the Lifestealer, of course, because of both the Enfeeble and the Fiend's Grip, and of course the Nightmare is a very good defensive ability in a tri-lane. Also denying him somewhat to NTH, because if there's a couple heroes that are particularly good against that lone druid and preventing him from farming, and those two heroes, probably some of the nastiest, are Bane and Shadow Demon, because their abilities that would otherwise hold the bear in place while it's trying to pull creeps around, not only hold it, but also make it an invalid target, so the creeps just wander right past, and then Lone Druid misses his creep pull, can't pull it around, can't get a lot of experience using that bear to divert creeps. Which really makes it very hard to lane the Lone Druid. And of course, NTH now saying, alright, here's all the mids we don't want Magnus to have to deal with. We want to give him the easiest laning situation possible. So Puck and Queen of Pain banned out already. VP banning out the Shadow Demon, knowing that NTH has 4th pick and that they would probably pick it up, knowing that they wouldn't be able to get it. I'm sure they'd love to have it if they could, but they're too afraid since they know NTH is going to be picking up supports and nothing but supports. They want to ban out everything that they could possibly snag that would beat out their support lineup they're picking into.
10 seconds remaining.
Chen being the next ban out. Again, powerful support hero, powerful push. Powerful in team fights as well with that heal, and Undying being banned out. So NTH saying they might try to aggressive try us, or maybe they want to run the aggressive try. Maybe they want to go in a try versus try scenario, which is one of the few things, I said there's only a few kind of awkward laning situations in which you could have the Magnus somewhere besides mid. That would be one of them. If you get the Lifestealer and a couple aggressive supports up top, you could have the Magnus solo safe lane farming and put the Darkseer in the mid lane. But that depends on whether or not whoever's in the mid lane is somebody who is particularly good against Darkseer or particularly good against Magnus. Basically, if you want a very stable sort of laner, that's Darkseer. He sits in there, and as long as he's not just taking a ton of return damage, he can just farm up with the Ion Shell. If you want a very spammy sort of laner like Magnus that gets a lot more harass off against the enemy hero, then, obviously with the Shockwave, that's more effective than the Ion Shell. All burst damage instead of damage over time.
Reserve time.
And you, of course, have to look at who's going to be better in the 1v1 matchup in the safe lane if they do decide to do that. Now, of course, we have no guarantees yet. Lifestealer Rubik can be made into an aggressive try. Lashrock being picked up as the final tri-lane support for VP. That is a dangerous tri-lane. Nightmare into Split Earth, since any AoE magic, or targeted magic, in fact, will wake the Nightmare without any ill effects, and then just Rocket Barrage on top of them. That's a lot of freaking damage, especially if Lesh were to go an Edict build on top of that. Basically, no one would be able to be anywhere near the Gyro and the Lesh, or they just die. Final pick coming up for NTH. This will pretty much determine whether they want to run an aggressive lane or whether they want to run a defensive lane. I would not be comfortable running an aggressive lane against Bane Lesh. I think it's too strong defensively, and I think they'd be throwing away all the farm their Lifestealer could otherwise get and not really getting a whole lot in return for it. So I would hope that they're going for a safe lane sort of thing right now. We'll find out, though.
10 seconds.
Lina, that's a good aggressive tri lane. I'm still not comfortable with them running it because I think Bane Lesh is going to do better than Rubik Lina, especially with the Gyrocopter burst damage. The Lifestealer will rage through a lot of it, but those supports will just die and die and die if they try to take it aggressive. They won't get the extra experience. Lesh and Bane will start to out-level them very thoroughly, and because of course the aggressive tri lane will lack jungle pulls. Sorry, I should really make sure I say why I'm drawing these conclusions. My bad.
5 seconds remaining.
And I think it'll go poorly if they try to do that. Could be wrong. They could just outplay VP if they go for an aggressive, but I don't know. Maybe they just want the Lina there because they want to be able to telly the bear and stun the bear and try to get a lot of damage on the bear with the Lone Druid, but generally I think when you get a Lina, you have someone with such a good stun and you have the setup for it and you have all of her AoE, you're generally trying to be in a lane where you're going to get kills, not a lane where you're just trying to deny the off-laner farm. There are better heroes you can pick for that. Final pick for VP, gonna have to see what their mid is. Maybe a Storm Spirit. He would fit. They already have a decent amount of disable that would let him get some time to get in. The Lesh can stack his Split Earth off of the Storm Spirit Vortex, so I think he'd be particularly good. They could go Silencer middle. Silencer against either Magnus or Darkseer I don't think would be an amazingly friendly matchup for either of them, especially Magnus, because if he goes Last Word, Curse of the Silent. A lot of times I think you'll eschew Curse of the Silent when you're in the middle lane, simply because it's not a lot of reward, except against heroes with a very low mana pool like Magnus. It's going to be Beastmaster, okay. Similar to Storm Spirit, a very powerful global ganker, can come in from long range, can come from where you don't see him, and also gives you, if they're worried about the gank potential of the Rubik Lina, the Hawk, of course, can be used either offensively or defensively, and we'll see what they come up with that mid lane. And I think he'll do well against either the Magnus or the Darkseer, because he can use the axes, just like Magnus can use the, looks like S4 is going to be playing the Magnus, so it is going to be a mid-Magnus. Well, you know, Darkseer Ion Shell, pretty darn good against melees, but we're going to have Bulldog on that Darkseer. Didn't want to give him the Bounty Hunter this time around. I guess he usually only gets that if Darkseer gets banned and the other team picks Lone Druid. That's when Bulldog takes the Bounty Hunter, because I think he likes it more than Darkseer, and personally he plays Bounty Hunter better. He plays an exceptional Bounty Hunter, but Darkseer is a more powerful hero, just almost hands down. Alright, really quickly, let's run down the lineups right here. For Virtus.Pro, I can't do a Russian accent, I'm sorry, I'll stop. TMW, going to be playing the Beastmaster. KSI on the Lone Druid, Illidan Stormrage / Airman going to be on the Gyrocopter, no surprise. Santa on his Bane Elemental, and Vampire going to be playing Leshrac. So it looks like it is going to be a try versus try. Oh no, nope, that's Bulldog up there. I wonder what the, oh, that's the Fiery Soul of the Slayer. That thing's pretty awesome. Anyway, Ake going to be playing the Lina for NTH, Bulldog on the Darkseer, EGM on the Rubik, S4 going to be playing the Magnus, and Lifestealer going to be played by Loda, and it looks like maybe they're doing an aggressive try with a Darkseer? That's so... I think it's been done, but it's still weird. Just because he's a hero that so desperately needs levels. Like, desperately needs levels. He went double stout, so he's really looking for that block chance. The way that stacks, by the way, if you don't know the math, basically it rolls for the first one. If the first one fails, it rolls for the second one. It does not roll for the second block chance. If the first one succeeds, you can't block 40 damage off 2 stouts, but it gives you a very high chance to block the 20 damage, and it means you're not worried about getting a poor man's. It's slightly cheaper than a poor man's. Darkseer really doesn't need the agility. But it looks like maybe EGM and Ake are just... Oh, there's smoke over here in Ake's inventory. I'm wondering if they're just trying to bait the Gyro to think he's alone up here, and think that the supports can go stack, and then just quickly pick him off. Ugh, excuse me. Quickly pick him off while the supports are otherwise engaged, and then maybe just smoke right out of there and get out before anyone can do anything. Does he see EGM right there? No, he's tucked into the trees. Looks like the creep's coming up right now. Oh, we gotta see if this happens. A couple of Ion Shells. There's the Nightmare on the Bulldog, but here comes EGM sneaking in. The Trent. Oh, look at all the damage coming out on the Bulldog, but beautiful Telly stun catches 2. Lina stun catches 3 as well. First blood goes to Bulldog. Santa probably gonna go down as well. Bulldog does go down. Rubik picks off the Bane. Ake and Rubik now. Oh, this is a 2 for 2 so far. I don't think. Oh, maybe Ake after he landed that stun. There is mana for another Rocket Barrage. Trying to get him low enough to get maybe another Dragon Slave off, but no, he was never quite low enough. So a 2 for 2, and if that's the combo they want to run, maybe they were just trying to get those initial couple kills. Ake got some good experience off it. Lone Druid is actually just sitting in the jungle. He doesn't want to subject his bear to a lifestealer. I think they're going to keep doing this. I think this is their aggressive try line, and that's really interesting to me. It worked very well for that initial gank. We'll have to see how well it works now that VP knows what's up there and they start playing against it. Because even when they were totally caught off guard, they traded 2 for 2. And that's not really an amazing sign, that they had no idea what was going on, and they still traded 2 for 2. I think that's just the incredible power of their try lane. I think it's better. I said that before, I'll say it again. Now they're just going to try to zone Bulldog. Looks like Rubik might just be roaming. EGM just trying to... Oh, there he goes on to TMW. Going to get the Telly stun. S4 throws out the Shockwave. Damage is coming out. He is not going to go down at all. In fact, he's going to sit here and fight EGM for fun. Lots of damage coming out. He's tanking those creeps as well. S4 trying to get a skewer maybe. He's looking for it, but not quite. What are you doing, TMW? You're just trying to die, man. There's the skewer, and he does catch him. I don't know why he didn't just back up. That was just... I think that was sloppy and overconfident. He had no reason to still be in there. He knew there were 2 heroes there. Getting the damage onto Rubik was fine, but as soon as you saw S4 maneuvering kind of in this direction, you should have been backing up. You should not have been letting him get in position for a skewer, but here comes a hasted Leshrock. I don't think he even cares about that split earth. Oh, he catches him just on the edge of it. Damage is going to come out. S4 is almost definitely going to go down. His skewer is not up for 3 more seconds because he used it to kill TMW. Ake coming in, though. Non-stop action. The stun lands, but all the return damage coming out. Oh, that split earth just barely missed. Vampire, I think, is going to get him, maybe? Yes. Dies to a combination of a little bit of creep damage and that Leshrock auto attack. This is some aggressive play coming out from both teams. And, oh god, I'm trying to think who this is going to favor. I think an aggressive play like this is actually going to favor no Tidehunter. I think they have the better kind of map-wide gank lineup in the early game. So if they keep doing this before the Lone Druid gets farmed, before the Beastmaster gets farmed, before he maybe gets his Port Boots, before he gets his level 6, they can get a whole lot of work done in the early game when VP can't really respond, because they have such good like level 1 through 3 engagement power. But if they try to keep rolling this throughout the mid-game, I think they're going to start to have problems, because the Lone Druid, the Beastmaster will basically be able to shut down a lot of your gank in combination with the Bane, who is incredible defending against gank simply because of Nightmare and Enfeeble and Fiend's Grip. I mean, all of his skills are just super, super good defensively. And while you're trying to gank people, while you're trying to, you know, slow down the Gyrocopter, slow down Airman, Lone Druid will just be pushing your towers in the mid-game because he'll have the damage to do so. Wonder, Bear. Just a hatchet and a shield. Nothing particularly special. How are we doing on last hits? I should be checking that. 28-7 is Loda on the lifestealer. He's been completely uncontested, so it's no surprise that he's hitting pretty much perfect. But at the same time, that's something that you think VP needs to worry about at least a little. If they're going to keep running this kind of aggressive stuff, the Beastmaster takes out Magnus again. Not a good start for S4 in that mid lane. He's not losing by creeps very much, but now 2 deaths coming out. Just, I guess maybe it was a little bit of overconfidence right there against TMW on that Beastmaster. Thought he would be okay. Looks like we have a push coming in top lane. Airman and Santa on the Gyro and the Bane, just going to put a lot of damage in. Most likely going to get this tower. And oh, we have a port coming in from Magnus. Is he going to be there in time to actually do anything? There he goes. The tower goes down. He does not have his reverse polarity, so he immediately gets nightmared. Surge comes onto him to try and get him back into range. Airman kind of cutting back and going for the darks here. S4 getting stunned finally by that missile. I don't know what he was thinking chasing this far. The missile with the follow-up Leshrock stun was just certain death for him right there. Airman now trying to get in on the EGM. Does he have the roller? No, he does not. He used it to kill the Magnus earlier, but doesn't even matter. The axes combined with the Rocket Barrage bring Rubik right down, and this is really starting to favor VP. And I think they have the stronger mid-game if they come out of the laning phase strong. I mean, I know I say that a lot, but I think if NTH came out of the laning phase very strong, VP could still turtle up pretty well. They have some very good defensive heroes between Beastmaster and Bane. Leshrock can nuke down creep waves very well. Lone Druid can apply some split push pressure while Gyrocopter just farms up and also nukes down creep waves very well with that flat cannon. On the other hand, a whole lot of no Tidehunter is relying on being very aggressive in the mid-game. Lina and Rubik in particular, the way they're being played. Lina in general. If you're not being aggressive with Lina, it's a waste of the hero. I mean, she's all about stuns and nukes. She's completely about aggression. Oh, we might have Beastmaster Roar coming out on an S4. No, he doesn't want to burn it. KSI also farming this mid lane. Chasing him down, trying to get a little bit of pressure on. Oh, now he's... Oh, Vampire steals the... Goes ahead and steals that haste rune. Is he going to get the Roar? There it is. Vampire now putting a lot of damage on with the Edict has now ended, but the Split Earth comes out. Santa coming in as well. Rubik's stun. It does put TMW up in where he's going to have to tank through the Ancients just a little bit. There you go. Never mind. He's going to throw some axes to get through there. Tries to hit EGM with them, but doesn't quite get him. But again, S4 going down. That makes my belief 1 for 3, maybe? 1 for 4. He's now died 4 times. That is not the start you need for your Magnus, especially when you have all this fantastic AoE, and between the Darkseer with the Vacuum, who can set up very nicely for the Magnus, and then the Lina follow-up with the incredible AoE she can put out if Magnus gets a good RP, you really want your Magnus to have a blink to be really effective in the mid-game. He's actually gone in power for better farming, as opposed to just maxing Skewer. But, I'm kind of worried for no Tidehunter right here. As I was saying before before that engagement was happening, they're much more reliant on being aggressive in the mid game, and when you come out of the laning phase with a disadvantage, when you basically are forced into a situation where you have to be looking for pickoffs as opposed to making plays happen, Like, you can't force things when you come out particularly behind. Now let's see how the XP and gold is doing. Already about 3,000 XP for Virtus.Pro and a little over 2,000 gold. That's a quite significant mid-game advantage. And so I'm very worried. They're going to need to get some nice positioning for reverse polarities from S4 on the mag, who is now charging. There's the RP onto TMW. They really want him dead. Brendan, that. Oh, the roar is going to take S4, but I think he's going to come on-roared in time to get a shockwave. Oh, TMW dodges it, saw it coming, knew it had to be coming out, and so the RP is burned for nothing, and that, especially in a game where you're already falling behind, burning an RP, just basically all he gets in return for the RP is a burn on the Primal Roar. Primal Roar is a minute till it's cooled down. RP is a minute and a half. Always, RP is a bigger teamfight swinger, but in this mid-game, that Roar, if all you're getting in exchange for the RP is a burn of the Roar, it was not a worthwhile RP. Very good port in, by the way, from Santa. Nightmare and Rubik just in time to prevent anything from happening. That is a really, really cool Dragon Slave effect, by the way. Just saying. And Rubik tries to get the deny, but Lone Druid, of course, taking that tower out. Very, very hard to deny against a lone Druid. His bear already has Demolish. He is level 7. So now, there's some counter push coming out with illusions from the Lifestealer and Loda down here. He's still sitting very, very nice on his farm, 67 and 9. His net worth is still just barely the highest in the game, but you have Loda, and then you have 3 members of NTH. And that's, the gyrocopter is practically even with Loda. I mean, functionally, 100 gold is not enough to make any significant difference, unless that 100 gold difference is at the single perfect point where you engage, and it means the difference between an item and not an item. But then you have the Lone Druid and the Beastmaster, both tremendously out-farming everyone on NTH's side. And this is not a good look. Already 8-3. The gold advantage is now up higher. It's almost at 3,000 now because of that tower going down. And I gotta say, I'm worried. I think NTH can make things happen, but they have to be very, very careful with these RPs. They can't just kind of burn them willy-nilly, and S4 needs to be the playmaker here. Loda can get his farm, he can get some work done, but until he's really prepared to fight, S4 is the one who has to make things happen. He has to get good skewers. He's still working on his arcane boots. That's kind of depressing as a Magnus. Let me tell you. It's depressing to not have your arcane boots by 10 minutes on a Magnus. You know you want them, and it's not really that he doesn't have them, but that he's still only about halfway to the energy booster. He's not particularly close. So, Lena does pick off Bane up here, which is pretty good, but then, all the AoE damage coming up from Gyrocopter between the call down and the flat cannon, just too much. And now Loda being chased down by a very angry Leshrac. He gets the very edge of the split earth stun. Beautiful play from Vampire. Loda goes down as well. A 4-for-1 exchange. All they got was Bane, and in exchange they lose everyone but Magnus, who's just off trying to farm his arcane boots right now. That is really, really unfortunate, and it's exactly what NTH can't have happen. And really, I don't know what they were thinking, engaging in this zone. Not only do you know the tower is right here, and so there's going to be TP support just, 2 seconds away, but the tower and the TPs are out of sight, so you don't even know when to back. You just know, oh, we're fighting right here. We don't have vision up here. We don't have maybe a ward here to watch for TPs. So we're basically engaging blind, and we don't know who we're going to be followed up by, and they really, really paid for taking that risk. I think that they're worried that, they have this very aggressive mid-game lineup, and while they can kind of turtle just by virtue of having reverse polarity and the Darkseer, if they just try to turtle this game out, I don't think they win. Between a Gyrocopter who can very easily just go for a Divine Rapier, and who generally goes for a Divine Rapier, played by VP. He does have his Helm of the Dominator. That is the first step on Airman's traditional Rapier build. And Magnus gonna die again. Did he get his Arcane Boots first? Did he buy them at least? Is it on the Courier? Yeah, I just saw it just barely leave that slot and go into the stash. So he does have his Arcane Boots ready to pick up when he reses, but still, very unfortunate for Magnus to be dying this much. He's 1 in 5 now. 47 last hits isn't bad, but you gotta remember some of those are the jungle creeps he was just farming up down here, which aren't really worth that much. And it's, I think, his level that's really gonna start showing. I mean, if you look at hero level, you have the mid Magnus is below 4 other heroes on the map. That's not something you need to happen, especially when, like I've been saying, he has to be your playmaker in the mid game. It's very, very unfortunate. Looks like we do have a push coming in here from Virtus.Pro. They know they have the advantage, and they know they have the better mid-game push. So they're saying, let's cement our advantage. Oh, Loda, buddy. What are you doing? He takes the Enfeeble. I believe it's only level 1. Yes, it is. But there goes the Roar. It's going to burn him through the entire rage. The RP is going to catch a lot of them. Nice and Best Bomb to turn things around. There goes the Call Down. It's going to come down, put not a whole lot of damage in. Good Laguna coming out of Lina. Airman's still alive, though, putting damage in. We have Lifestealer buys back and comes right back into the fight. Now he pops his rage, but there's still a lot of heroes there. I'm not sure Loda's particularly safe right there. He's kind of in the middle, where the rest of his team is sort of spread out along the map. Looks like, oh, Airman going to take down another hero. Loda now going to be the next target. Enfeebled, Nightmared. Oh, he wants Airman. He wants him with the damage. Oh, with the Rubik Fade Bolt to put on the extra damage, he is going to bring him down. But that's a death, a buyback, and another death for Loda. Very, very bad fight there for NTH. They got a couple of key objectives, but they lost a whole lot more, and their Lifestealer, who was farming really, really well, keeping up with the Gyro, his net worth has now just tanked to 4,600 from what was about even with the Gyro. And that is not... when you're already behind in the mid-game, giveaways like that can't happen. Loda playing a little too confident. He saw that there were a lot of heroes coming. He needed to get out. He couldn't stick around like that. Now it looks like S4 might be the next one to go down. He was hiding in the woods. Now he's getting chased. Is the Bear going to get an entangle? Ever? Nope. Nope. They're just going to leave him. Bear does not manage to score an entangle, but they are going to get this tower after taking that significant team fight. Looks like ports are going to come in. We have Lifestealer and Darkseer on the way. Lifestealer getting immediately Fiend Script, but not a lot of damage being put out on him. And now the Roar stolen by Rubik, going to go on to Bane. He is probably going to go down. Lots of healing coming out. The Beastmaster is, in fact, the first one to die. Now the Bane being chased away. He's managed to keep himself alive with Brain Sap for now. Has 9 stick charges. If he gets the cooldown on the Brain Sap, he might just barely be able to live. Is he just going to try to die to the tower? Is that what he's going for here? I have no idea what Santa is doing, but it's weird, whatever it is. He's trying to live still and just diving further and further towards their base. He tried to get the Brain Sap off, but I mean, on the bright side, he wastes a huge amount of time that they could have spent farming in exchange for just that one kill. So, I guess if he knew he was going to die, leading them on that Wild Goose Chase and wasting as much time as possible, especially when you know the Lifestealer is one of the people chasing you, and the underfarmed Magnus, who really needs to be off getting his Blink Dagger, actually pretty reasonable move there from Santa. So well done, I gotta say. However, NTH picks up 3 kills, loses no one in that little engagement right there. The Bane ult was pretty immediately cancelled. The Primal Roar wasn't really followed up on. It actually got stacked with the Bane ult on top of that Lifestealer in that last fight, if you guys didn't notice. So not really getting the best effect out of their anti-Lifestealer sort of disables, which led to them making a trade that they didn't want to, which was 3-0. After that, we still have about a 5,000 experience advantage from Virtus.Pro, but you can see it ticks back up from about 7,500 to the 5,000 mark. So that NTH has managed to stop the bleeding a little bit here, and the gold advantage just swung back to a little bit under 5,000. Still a good lead for VP, but that's the kind of thing NTH needs more of, is catching them when they're out of position and they're overconfident, as opposed to trying to defend a tower that you know they're fully formed up to fight. Because basically, after they had already killed NTH at that tower, and they're like, alright, VP says, alright, we can definitely take this tower pretty easy. They didn't really commit fully. They weren't really prepped for another fight right there. And those port-ins on top of Santa, or excuse me, not Santa, S4 being hidden in the woods down there was actually... I mean, I don't think they saw it coming, and that was part of what happened. We do have an engagement coming up here. Oh, S4, you do have the RP. He's waiting. He's waiting right there. Is he going to get it off? He cancels it real quick. He gets entangled. The TP got canceled in, and so much damage coming back out onto Ake. He's going to be the next one to go down. There's Loda. This time the Fiend's Grip is doing all of its work. No one to stun out of it, and Loda definitely going to go down as well. Buyback from S4 happened. He's trying to get back into the fight, but I don't think anything is even worth it right now. Is he still going to try to go in there? It's 5-on-3. And I mean, man, EGM is going to die, but you can't do anything about that. I mean, what are you doing, S4? Just get out of there, buddy. Oh, man, that scared me. I thought he was going to go in and waste his RP and then just die, because that would really have been all that happened. Beastmaster's actually gone for very early mech. Interesting build, but it's letting them... I mean, since they're not going for kind of a global gank sort of build, they have the Beastmaster, but he's doing a lot more pushing than anything else. There's the Roar on a Bulldog who was trying to surge himself away. Are they going to get an entangle? Are they going to get anything? Mech goes off, but Bulldog taking a whole lot of damage. I don't think he's going to make it out. Traps himself in. Maybe could have tried to vacuum some trees out of the way, but does he even have vacuum? Yeah, he does. Okay, he has his 3 points in vacuum, so maybe that was his goal, to try to vacuum some trees and get out through this lane he created for himself, but I think he would have gone down to axes either way. But anyway, back to the Beastmaster mech pickup. I really, really like it, because like I was saying, they're not focused on ganking. He doesn't need to rush Port Boots. He doesn't need to rush a Blink Dagger. But with that inner Beast maxed out, and getting a very quick mech from his mid play, I mean, that means that the mid-game push that VP is playing, Vampire might be in trouble right here, but S4 misses both the skewer and the shockwave. He gets caught in the stun. This could be really bad. He takes the axes, takes the nukes damage. The Nightmare comes out, and boom, he goes down again. S4 just being too over-aggressive when they don't have any map. They have no idea where most of VP is, and so he goes in and just gets immediately countered on. Just, poor decision-making all around from NTH, I think, in just a lot of situations. It looks like VP might be looking at a Roshan kill with this early advantage they have going right here. Armlet picked up by Lone Druid for his bear. Anyway, the short version, the mech on Beastmaster is really good because it amplifies the pushing power that he already brings to the table, and he was able to get it very, very quickly because he had a very good lane in mid, which meant that they could have that 250 hit point swing on all of their heroes very, very early. And now, alright, we have Dom Helm into Manta. That's not what I've ever seen Illidan go when he's going for the Rapier, so maybe he's going for a different build. He just likes that Dom Helm. Usually I see Dom Helm BKB Rapier. But I guess he doesn't think he needs it. He doesn't think he needs to be building towards it. He thinks they have a significant enough advantage that buying a Rapier is just a risk at this point. Whereas I think it's if he's going even, or if he feels that VP is a little bit behind, that's when he traditionally will do his Rapier build. And also, I mean, on top of that, a BKB is a good item if you need to build a little bit more defensively. He feels no need to do that right now. He's just gone straight Manta for both split push power and a lot of extra damage output. The stats, of course, don't hurt either.
Dire's mid tower's having technical difficulties.
We do have a push coming in from NTH. There goes the Fiend's Grip onto S4. Is he going to go down before getting his RP off again? No! Huge RP! 4 heroes! Lots of AoE return coming out from Lina. The mech goes off, but it's just not enough. The Aegis is burned. Lots of damage coming out onto all of VP. Bulldog might be the next one to go down, though. It looks like, he's not quite going to get finished off. The Lifestealer Bomb comes out. But, Loda, you're in so much trouble, buddy. Keep that armlet toggle going on. There goes the Rage. He's just going to port himself out. Nothing to stop him right there, since the Rage was just too long. But, man, that was exactly what the kind of fight NTH needs more of. They got this excellent RP, a ton of follow-up damage from Lina, the Lifestealer Infest Bomb to deal a little bit of extra AoE damage, and they got, a 2-for-1 trade, which, at this point, good trades like that are the best they can hope for. They can't really hope for decisive wins unless VP makes a huge blunder or is caught way out of position or something. So, more of that, NTH. Keep yourselves in the game. It's good to do. You guys are a fun team to watch. Please don't blunder like this. Santa's still ages away from his Blink Dagger, though, and that's a serious problem. Only about 300 gold. He's got nothing on Courier, nothing in his stash. And that means, it's going to be at least a good 10 minutes, probably, at the rate he's farming before he gets his hands on that Blink Dagger. And we've seen what the good RPs can do. He can actually win them team fights. Even in this kind of underfarmed, underleveled state of being down 15,000 experience and 10,000 gold, which is huge at any stage of the game. That's a huge margin to try and overcome. But a good RP like he just got, a really, really good RP, can still win fights like that. But without the blink, those RPs are few and far between. I really think NTH needs to just kind of ward up, play very, very defensively, get the Blink Dagger on S4, and then you go back and you try to make something happen. Because you can't just farm forever. You are going to lose against both a Lone Druid and a Gyrocopter when your only carry is a Lifestealer. But you get that Blink, you get those RPs, you can turn around this disadvantage you have with a couple of really solid team fights. You have the AoE to do it, you just need to make it happen. Looks like NTH is going to be trying to take this mid tower once again. And Dire not really in position to defend this. VP looks like they're much more interested in just taking this bottom tower, perhaps. I meant to click down there. And between the Edict and the Lone Druid Bear, I think this tower might die before that tier 1 in mid. Nope, I'm wrong. But it's definitely going to go down. They've already burned their forts. They don't really have a safe way to port in. Darkseer just bought a Blink Dagger, so he's going to try to get some Blink Vacuums. I guess he feels that he needs the mobility for the sake. Alright, so Lifestealer also takes the top towers. That's 2 towers, 2 tier 1s in exchange for a tier 2. But VP, They're not really interested in playing around much longer. They say, we have the power to win these fights. We feel we can push the uphill. We're just going to do it. And that armlet on the bear, combined with the battle cry, look at how fast that tower is dying. NTH didn't seem like they were ready for this response. They were ready to trade the tier 2, but they didn't think that the tier 3 would be the next target. Bear is going to get pulled back in and killed. Does KSI have a resummon? Alright, he does, but now he has to be much more careful with that bear. Can't just use it to kind of tank hits. There's only two more hits needed, excuse me. There goes that tier 3, and now a lot of that uphill advantage is gone. They can force themselves up the hill without worrying about taking tower shots at the same time. It'll still take them a little bit of positioning. There's a little positional advantage. Oh, there's damage coming out on the bear. They might get it again. If they get that bear, VP really needs to fall back. No, it is going to survive, just barely. But, get it? Barely? Okay, I'll leave now. I'm sorry. But, oh man, I just don't think NTH was all ready for that push to happen. They really should have been. With the advantage VP has and the lineup they have to know they're ready to knock down towers wherever they see them. And if you're not there to defend, they'll just knock it right down, and they don't really care. They're not worried about not being able to push a tower. Lone Druid has now purchased a Basher, so he's feeling very confident and going very, very aggressive with his build. He feels he doesn't need to get anything like a Radiance for split pushing. He doesn't need to get a Maelstrom for trying to clear out creep lines faster. He thinks they have that. He just wants his bear to have a little bit of extra lockdown so that if he catches a hero, they're just going to die. That is his goal. See, is it sitting on the cart or in his stash maybe? Did he already? Oh no, it's already on the bear. I didn't even notice. Oh duh, the bear picked it up right over here and then got ported back. Herp derp. That's right, the bear is a courier. Things I should probably know, having played Dota for as many years as I have. Now this again is looking kind of grim for NTH. They got a couple towers, which is a good start. The experience advantage is slowly dipping upwards, but they need to take like a big fight or something, and they can't give anything away in the meantime. But now they're trying to get some split push, trying to apply pressure around the map, which is not necessarily a bad idea. You know, Ake can get a whole lot of AoE done. He's trying to get himself some levels as well. He's only level 9. They would really like that level 2 Laguna Blade for these fights. Just they can pick a target and pop them off immediately. Maybe if they could get the no BKB Gyro and bring him down. Oh, there goes the initiation. Nice vacuum from Bulldog. Nice RP again from a S4. Couple of damage coming out already. Lashrock has gone down. Lots and lots of AoE coming out the Shockwave. The nice Rubik toss to get 3 with that, and then a stolen roar to keep Airman right out of the fight. Ake though gets bashed and then entangled, so he's not able to get away. Rubik does manage to pick up the gyrocopter. That's pretty significant, but the bashes and the entangles just too much for Loda to take, and he goes down as well. Darkseer goes down. Santa trying to live. He's probably going to die to that urn. He nightmares himself. Nightmares himself for the deny. Well played. But Rubik goes down as well. S4 has his blink finally, so he does get away from there. Blink and a gem to try to get some counter warding done. But all in all, I think that could have been better for NTH. I mean, maybe that's all they could have expected, but they got such a good RP and they got such a good vacuum. Does he not have the wall yet? No, I didn't actually see him drop it down. Maybe I'm just completely blind, but for some reason I didn't see it. Oh, Lena going down trying to defend this bottom racks on her own. Not a safe thing to do. S4 is here but has no mana. EGM can maybe get some damage out on that bear. But there are the axes putting out more damage. Ake has bought back and is trying to fight them off. Darkseer now going to port in, try and maybe get in some follow-up here. He has his blink still. No, he's just going to hang out and defend the base. So they managed to save this melee racks with about 50 life. But anytime that Santa can, or excuse me, that KSI can just kind of sneak in and get to that Rax undefended, it's only going to be a few little paw swipes away from death. So they have to either basically just admit that Rax is dead, which is not something you ever want to do, or NTH has to constantly have someone ready to just be there. And considering it can go down in the amount of time a TP takes to go off, I love that Jakira award, random tangent, and the amount of time a TP takes to just go off, that pretty much means that unless they want to leave someone in the base, that Rax is going to die. I mean, even through backdoor protection, I think at this point, KSI could probably pick that thing off. It's so low on its life. VP, perfectly happy to go back and farm up. Maybe they're waiting for the next Roshan, which is going to spawn in about a minute and a half. And that would give them... See, and that's something... NTH might actually be able to contest that simply because the Roche pit is so small. The RP literally hits everyone if they're all in the pit. And then the follow-up AoE damage, especially if he has the Lifestealer Bomb inside him, they get a vac wall off in there. Very tight spaces like that play very nicely into the hands of teamfight setups. So VP is really going to either have to have a pick or keep up this really excellent warding that they have going on if they want to have a chance of getting that Roche. Looks like this ward is about to expire, but this one right here, we'll see anything coming a decent amount of time beforehand. This is just illusions. I was like, what is going on up there? That is a very dead Beastmaster. But no, just some images. Nothing important. VP maybe assembling down near the bottom lane. Maybe just going to try to brute force down that last Rax. Not sure they can quite decide. KSI just farming up still. How's he for items? He has Vlad's Basher, Armlet, Midas. And how much gold is he sitting on right now? Another 2,100. So he's, I mean, whatever he wants to go for next. If he wants to go for an Abyssal Blade, maybe that's about 1,600 gold away. If he just wants that bear to be swinging as hard as is humanly possible and wants that, I mean, oh, here we go. Here we go. Smoke Gank coming in from VP. They're going to try and catch Loda out of position. He's going to be in trouble. He can pop the Rage and try to get away, but there's the Fiend Script, and Loda is going to go down, and that's huge for NTH. They're not going to have their Lifestealer. Does he have buyback ready? No, he does not. He's 50 gold short. 50 gold. He just barely lost enough that he couldn't manage to get back in there, and this could be that bottom Rax. They have 45 seconds of no Lifestealer. Nope, they're just going to take the Roshan. Of course, they got a really big pick-off. They're going to go take Roshan because there's not a whole lot. Oh, there's the Lifestealer buyback. He does manage to take up enough gold, I guess. That's weird because I didn't think he would be taking it up that fast to deal with the increasing buyback cost. But it doesn't matter because Roshan dies incredibly quickly. Gyro now with another Aegis, and oh, he's going for Satanic. So I saw the Demon Edge. I was like, are you going for a Rapier without a BKB there, Airman? Because that sounds a little crazy to me. But no, he's decided to just go for the Satanic. Has the Demon Edge, just casual Demon Edge for damage. He'll finish it into something later. Maybe an MKB, maybe a Rapier. We'll find out. And he does finish his Satanic now. So an Aegis and a Satanic ready to push. Anything new on the Bear? No, still another 500 gold if Lone Druid wants to go that Abyssal Blade, which I believe is going to be what he's going for since he hasn't spent any of that yet. Really one of the only things that costs that much money is that relic, so he probably would have bought a piece of something if he was going for anything else. Looks like they just want to take this top tier 1 for now, get themselves just a little bit more of an advantage. Not looking to play particularly dangerously, just looking to not make mistakes and finish the game very casually and at a normal pace. They are in no rush to win this. They'd rather just actually have a victory. And there goes some smoke. I wonder if they're going to maybe try to swing around to that bottom Rax right now. I mean, the bottom lane's pushed pretty far out, and at this point the Rax should have regened at least a bit. Yeah, it's up at about half health, so they could probably tear through it if they wanted to, but it's still a dangerous proposition and would take some time. And it looks like, oh, I think that NTH knows this is coming. They don't see anyone on the maps. They're expecting the smoke backdoor, and there, they called it out. There's the vacuum, but oh, S4 not ready to follow up, and there's tons of damage coming out. He's not even going to get the RP off. That's huge. He buys back immediately to try to get in, but Loda and Bulldog already going down. Loda does not have buyback. KSI picks off another hero. 3 buybacks already, but they don't have that Lifestealer, and the GG is called by S4. They know they can't defend without their carry. Moving on to a game 2. Don't want to drain any more of their stamina playing a game they're done with. So, in summary, NTH kind of let that get away from themselves in the laning phase, and in the mid-game they also made some mistakes, and they weren't really playing like a team that was behind, which I feel is what they really needed to do. So VP just capitalized on some times when NTH was out of position, and by the time NTH was really playing like a very serious team, like a team that was behind, they were too far behind for just better play to win them those fights. They basically would trade even on fights where they had a huge initiation advantage. So hopefully they can pick that up and, you know, do a little better in game 2. I think they had a reasonable showing after they kind of got their act together, but the early game was not impressive, and it really cost them to be sloppy at the start there. Alright, moving on to game 2. We'll see if NTH can run it back or if VP will close this out with a quick 2-0. See you on the flip side.